Welcome to Bridging the Gap. This is a show where we spotlight young individuals who've redefined their purpose and embraced the very essence of their being. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we will question what is it that takes to walk away from everything that the world says you should want and choose a completely different path. I have with me Darshan Chaitanya ji, a young individual who left behind a career in finance in the US to return to India to become a Brahmachari. In this conversation, we will talk about impermanence, rebellion, spiritual clarity, and really staying rooted when everything around you is changing. I'm honored to welcome you, Darshanji, onto this show and ask you a few questions so you can help our viewers gain that clarity that you have for yourself. So my very first thing to you is, tell us about yourself in your own words.
Sure. First of all, I'm very happy to be here and thank you so much for having me. So my journey began in the US. I was born in the US. And soon after that, 2 or 3 years into my schooling, my mother realized that I would not get the upbringing that she wanted me to have there. And she made the decision of moving to India.
Really?
Yes.
So, most people are dying to go to the
Correct.
US and your mother was bringing you back.
Back. Yes.
Wow, okay.
So after my kindergarten, my mother and I moved back to India.
And dad continued there.
Correct. My mother and I moved here with my grandparents and to Ahmedabad, where we're from. And my schooling began in India after kindergarten.
Okay.
And then I was in Ahmedabad till my 4th grade.
Okay.
I was living at home.
Okay.
And being the only child, you get spoilt at home and everyone...
And with grandparents.
Absolutely. So it was difficult for my mother then by her own to, get me to do homework, study and all these things. And I obviously did not like studying and doing homework.
Okay.
So, and there was TV at the time. So of course, that played a role as well. So then in my 4th grade then, my mother and father both started looking for, a solution to this. And they came across Chinmaya International Residential School,
Okay.
a boarding school
Okay.
in Coimbatore.
Okay.
And they've had association with the mission, with Chinmaya Mission earlier.
Okay.
So they were comfortable and familiar with the mission. And
So tell me a little more about the mission. I don't know too much about the mission.
Yes. So Chinmaya Mission is a spiritual organization, Hindu spiritual organization, started and founded by Swami Chinmayananda
Okay.
in the 1950s. He was a prolific speaker on Vedanta, Advait Vedanta.
Oh, so it's not like, is it a religious organization? Is it a spiritual organization?
Well, religion and spiritual both,
Okay,
right? Because
okay.
religion cannot be divorced from spirituality.
Okay.
What we tend to think of religion is just the religious practices and rituals.
Okay.
But this is more than that,
Okay.
which is also part of it, but not limited to it.
Okay.
So the knowledge of Advait Vedanta is something that is thousands of years old,
Okay.
directly from the Hindu scripture, the Vedas.
Okay.
And a portion of the Vedas that asks questions about ourselves, an inquiry into who we are, is what we call Vedanta. Primary focus of the mission is to spread this knowledge of Advait Vedanta, which includes the Bhagavad Gita as well, the Upanishads,
Okay.
and Brahma Sutras.
Oh, okay. All right. So they were attached to the mission. They were a part of the mission.
Yes, they used to attend study classes and things, so they
Okay.
knew about the mission.
Okay.
So they found it comfortable to send, if they were to send me to a boarding school, they'd rather send me to a school that they know the organization and the people running it.
Okay.
So in my 5th grade, when I was 9 or 10, I went to the school, and initially, being the only child, there was a lot of pushback at home from the family about sending me to the school. So they didn't know Coimbatore, and they were like, why are you sending him there? And he'll study at home. But my mother just stood firm and said no. And also she asked me that, do you want to go? And it was difficult for me at home also being told to do it all the time and having these fights at home. I don't want to study. I don't want to do homework. So we decided we would go see the school first. And if I liked it, then I would go there. So when I was 9 or 10, I moved to Coimbatore to see IRS.
Okay, and what were your experiences at that point of time? Because you had been spoilt rotten by your grandparents and, at home, and now you come to a boarding school in Coimbatore that I'm sure you had no friends or no family there.
Yeah.
So how did that work?
So I was very excited. And I was excited because I could play, I could do what I wanted.
Okay.
And my parents
that's
were
what
not.
you thought.
That's what I thought. So my parents won't be on my shoulder all the time and, running after me. But when I went there, I felt warmth and I felt an embrace where I was being a part of a greater, bigger family. So what I was very fortunate with was a lot of love from our seniors. And because I and one of my friends who had joined, 5th grade is when the school starts. So we were the first ones to join.
Okay.
So when we joined, my friend had a brother who was in the 12th grade. So they would teach us and guide us, and they kind of took us under their wing. So I received a lot of guidance from them.
When you talk about boarding schools, there's this thing of, oh my God, you'll be ragged and you'll be... Does that happen? Did that happen to you?
No, it was the opposite in my case. Like I said, we were actually guided by them and they were like elder brothers to us.
So nobody troubled you or anything
I mean, they would tease and things, but no ragging kind of thing. Right?
And so it's a Chinmaya Mission school.
Yes.
Were you allowed to have fun? Were you allowed to play? Or was it just very studying oriented? What was that like?
So I was in that school for 7 years.
Okay.
Till my 6 years, till my 10th grade.
Okay.
And pretty much all those 6 years, I've only had fun.
Okay.
So what's different about the school is that we have a morning class, a spiritual class in the morning for half an hour.
Okay.
Where, something like Mahabharata, stories, Ramayana is taught.
Okay.
And reflection is taught.
Okay.
And, to think about things.
Okay.
And to find answers ourselves. But how do we think? That how do we think is what is taught, right?
Oh.
So that is one. And then evenings we would have bhajans and aarti, and we would celebrate our festivals in a big way, grand way. So Independence Day, Republic Day. So this conviction or this the values were taught to us, and this looking up to your religion, looking up to who you are, being proud of who you are. What does it actually mean to be a Hindu? What does it mean to do the practices that we've been taught at home sometimes, but have
We
not
don't
been?
know why.
We don't know why.
Yeah.
So all these things were taught, and there was no pressure, but these were inculcated in us.
But was it like you were told you have to believe in this?
No, never. In fact, like I said, we were asked to find our own answers, but the guidelines on how to do that, or the path, or the chain of thought, how to think, that was taught. So you develop your own way of thinking, but right thinking. And in that way, you find your own answers.
Very interesting. So nobody told you that this is the way you have to live.
No.
They taught you how to think, to choose how you want to live.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And discipline was, of course, there, part of every boarding school.
So, when I was growing up, I had no interaction with any kind of religion. I mean, of course, I went to a school that had Christian origins, so we sang hymns and all that. But there was no religious instruction that I ever received. In this school, did you get to meet swamis? Did you get to meet people who were clad in saffron? And what were those interactions like?
Yes. So we had a resident spiritual guide who was, there was a Brahmachari and a Brahmacharini at the time.
Okay.
Who would, conduct our regular classes and things. And if there was any clarification or if we wanted to speak to them, then we could go and speak to them.
Okay.
But at that time, we as boys especially were so young and we didn't think about these things. So there wasn't that much interaction because we didn't choose to.
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
just too focused on playing and all the other things in life. So we never had these questions.
I think what you said about the fact that, you were being taught to think is really a big thing, because most of the time we don't know how to think. We don't know how to make our choices. So I think that being the crux of the school was really, really powerful. Now, you obviously had interactions with, some amount of Vedanta, some amount of scriptures. In school, was there anything in your mind which made you feel that you will become a Brahmachari?
Not that far, but the spark had been ignited. So
Okay.
in our 10th grade, I told you about the spiritual class. And what we were doing in the spiritual class in my 10th grade was the logic of spirituality.
Okay.
So these are a series of 3 talks given by Swami Chinmaya, and we would watch that on
Okay.
video.
Okay.
And then we would have questions that we had to reflect on and answer.
Okay.
So I think that was really something that resonated with me.
Okay.
And I think maybe my thinking had become that mature as well
Okay.
at that time. So that's when I would take notes diligently, which I never did
Okay.
earlier. And I would actually think, and that's what I think set off this, line of thinking and inquiry and everything else that
Wow.
later, drove me to this.
So fine. So now you go off to the US.
Yeah.
And you said you wanted to go back to the US.
Yes.
Why did you want to go back?
There was this, because I was born there and I really never had, I didn't spend much time there. So we would
Okay.
go for vacation and stuff. But other than the 3 years that I was very small, my first 3 years, I'd never I'd never lived that long in US.
Okay.
And I always had this thing to where, I want to go back. And I just liked it better. And also for my college admissions, I think it would have made my life a lot easier.
Okay.
So for all these reasons, I said, after 10th, I told mom and dad, I said, I want to go back. But at that time, dad was working in Mumbai, so he had come. So when I joined CRS, is when dad moved from the States back to India
Okay.
for 10 years.
Okay.
And he wasn't able to move back.
Okay.
So I finished my 12th here, my high school here, and then moved back.
And your 12th you did in Bombay.
No, 12th I did in Bangalore. So I was in Bangalore for 2 years.
Okay.
After Coimbatore, yes.
And you did it in commerce, art.
I did IB.
Oh, you did IB.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And in IB, what were the subjects you took?
I did psychology,
Okay.
economics, math. So I think psychology was one that resonated a lot with me.
My God, it's got nothing to do with the path you're on now.
Yeah. But what I learned in psychology was was that everything has a reason and everyone has a reason. So sometimes we might question why someone does something, but it is that why that, we try and find out. Psychology was more focused on someone else and Vedanta is more focused on ourselves.
Wow.
But that question still stays.
Interesting. So let me ask you a question. You went back to the US to study. You wanted to go there. What was life like in the US? Did you go wild? Did you party? Did you get drunk? What did you do?
Life in the US was different but good. And because I'd stayed in a boarding school, I had no problem adjusting anywhere.
Okay.
So I made friends there, made good friends there, had a good time. College life was good. But also towards the end of college, towards my 2nd and 3rd year of college, is when Swami Swarupanandji of Chinmaya Mission.
He's the global head
He's
of the
the
mission.
global head now. So at that time, it was just announced that he would be taking over as the global head. And he was visiting where I was.
Okay.
So my mom said that let's go and meet him, just do pranams, because he was the residential director at the CRS boarding school that I was in.
Okay.
So Swamiji has seen me grow up.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So he was visiting, so mom said, let's meet him. So we went there, and this was during my summer vacation. So he asked me, what are you doing? I said, nothing, I'm at home only, I'm on summer vacation. So then I ended up spending those few days with him.
Okay. So your college life, was it normal? Did you do the things that regular people
Yes.
do?
Yes.
You had fun. Did you ever have a
Yes.
girlfriend or anything?
No, never happened.
Never happened?
Never happened, no.
Okay, so but did you try, like most young people try to smoke or try to drink? Those are things that didn't work
No,
for you.
never.
So somewhere, Darshanji, you were different to your age group, right?
This is again going back to what I learned in CRS. I was very clear about where I draw the lines.
Okay.
And I would have as much fun as I possibly could within those boundaries. And I did not want to cross it, not for anything else, but for my own good. And even though there were times where I had thoughts, or maybe I thought of crossing them, for whatever reason, God's grace, that didn't happen. So I never did anything that I regretted. Because I looked around and I thought, well, if getting drunk is only going to get me hungover the next day, then
Is it worth it?
is it worth it?
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So you met Swami Swarupananji again. What happened during that time that you spent time with him?
This was the first time that I was with him in close proximity.
Okay.
Because I had seen him in school and I'd spent time with him, but not this closely.
Okay.
So I would be with him the entire day, basically from the morning to the evening, and do everything that I possibly could to serve, to help make life easier, whatever it might be. And that's where these things, the logic of spirituality that I'd learned early on, I'd heard, these things started coming back to me at that time. And these questions started coming back to me about the purpose of life. Because now I was towards the end of college, things were
Understand.
different. Now I had to think ahead as well. It wasn't just like I'm going to do bachelor's and then master's. No, I didn't want to do that. I was looking for a job,
Okay.
like everyone does.
Okay.
And looking at people again around me and things around me, I wasn't convinced that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
But you still went into a job.
Yes,
And you chose to be in a job in finance.
yes.
Did you do well at the job?
Yeah, absolutely. I was so blessed to have a boss that I was almost like a younger brother or son to him. And he was one of the most smartest people that I've met in terms of how to think. Because again, in finance, in any job, we do not have any data or information completely. We have to work with what we have. Now, how do you work with what we have? Is something that he taught me. And he would always call me to his desk and tell me to sit with him and just learn. And he would teach me. He loved teaching.
Okay.
So I grew so much in that job and I learned so much. And even though I had second thoughts before joining, I spoke to Swamiji and he said, no, you must work because I want you to have that experience of the corporate life as well.
So when you said second thoughts, what were these second thoughts?
Second thoughts as in, is it really worth it? Do I see myself doing this for, the rest of my career?
So if you did not see yourself doing this, were you clear about what you saw yourself doing?
Yes. So when I asked Swamiji that, I told him that, Swamiji, I don't see the purpose of doing this or working in a corporate job. And
Explain that to me. Sorry, Darshanji.
Yes.
Explain that to me, because the way I see it is that most people want a job, want to earn a lot of money, want to travel the world.
Yes.
And you're telling me that you didn't see the purpose. So can you just unpack that for me?
Okay. So let's unfold this. So why do I want a job? To earn
make money.
Absolutely. Make money. Then what?
To have a good life.
Okay. Then what?
To have to get married, to have kids.
Sure. Live a good life, comfortable life.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the goal of everyone who goes to work or starts to work is to retire. So even before the guy started working, he's thinking about retirement. And not only does he want to retire, he wants to retire early. Most people.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not enough to retire. I want to retire safe. And what I mean by safe is financially secure.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And that's why you need to work.
Correct.
Yes.
So now, and to retire financially secure and spend all those 30 years doing what? Part of it is spoiling your health also. What do we see people do nowadays?
That's true.
Yes, then you
Yes.
spend the remaining 20 years of your life now worrying more because now your main source of income is gone. You're retired. So now you're not,
You're almost saying it's like, and then what? And then what?
yes. So I played this out in my life, and fortunately for me, money was not something that I had to ever think about, and I had the luxury of doing that because my parents were well off, family was well off. So I had the liberty of pursuing what I pursued. And it wasn't like worrying about where the next bread is coming from, where the next meal is
Okay.
coming from.
Okay. So you did this job,
Yes.
but in your mind you kept saying, then what?
Yes. So if I go down this route, then I get promoted, become a manager, become a director, whatever, even become a CEO, let's say.
Okay.
Okay, then what? Is that it? Is that the end goal of my life? Is what I was questioning. So this then what to lead me to what my end game is, because we always want to know what the end game is,
That's right.
right? So what is my end game?
Wow.
And if doing a job, earning money, all that was going to fulfill that, then I would have done that. But I did not dismiss it, although I was pretty sure that wasn't the answer. But I also did not want to accept it without trying something else or without seeing something else.
You were what, about 21, 22 when these thoughts were going through your
Yeah,
mind?
22, 23, yes.
That is actually for me very unusual because I have a son as well and I know a lot of his friends. For a 22, 23-year-old to be thinking like this is definitely unique and different. So Swami Swarupananji told you that you must work and you decided to experience something else. You were doing well at work. What was the trigger point that made you say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore?
So there is a 2-year Vedanta course
Okay.
in the ashram in Powai here
Okay.
in Mumbai, where we are trained and we are taught systematically Vedanta for 2 years.
And like how many hours a day?
2 hours, you have class in the morning and evening, and rest of the time you spend reflecting and making your own notes and everything, and reading. So from my interactions with Swamiji, what became clear to me over time was that what I was looking for, the answers I was looking for, were in Vedanta. And I was getting the answers that I was looking for.
Okay.
Not only was I getting them, I was convinced that that is it because I was seeing it play out in life.
Okay.
For example, the impermanence of things, the impermanence of beings, people going, people coming, things coming and going, depreciation, all these things that I was learning in finance parallelly, I was connecting back to Vedanta.
Wow. And you're right, because there is depreciation of everything.
Constantly.
And were you the kind of young person who read a lot of spiritual books and all that?
I've never been a big reader,
Okay.
but after my conversations and spending enough time with Swamiji, something clicked. And I asked Swamiji, what book should I read?
Okay.
And that is the only time in my life that I've asked anyone about books and what books to read. And he recommended 3-4 books to me. So I would only see Swamiji once a year when he would come to the States because I was
Okay.
still there. So that entire year I spent reading those books and reflecting on them. And I had 4 sides, double-sided, of questions. So
My
I had
God,
more
so you-
questions than
Than the
answers.
book itself.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay. And you said you never used to read, but you read these
Yes,
books.
because Vedanta resonated with me. So I could not leave the book because it was talking to me. Vedanta was speaking to me.
I was thinking a young person of 23 or 20, 22, 23, choosing the books that you were reading and, wanting to read Vedanta. I was in my mind trying to figure out, is it clarity that you had in your mind? Was it confusion you had in your mind? What was it in your mind that made you read? And what I'm hearing you saying is that you were getting clearer and clearer about what you wanted to get out of your life.
Yes.
So you told your parents that you were quitting a job in finance and you were coming back to India. What did they say? To do Vedant, what did they say?
Yes. So the silver lining was that the course Acharya, the teacher who would be with us, was Puja Guruji Swami Tejomananji,
Okay.
who was the head of the mission before Swami Swarupananji.
Okay.
And my parents have known Guruji for a long time.
Okay.
So they were, again, very comfortable sending me because it was him who was teaching.
But did they not tell you something like, beta, you're doing finance, you're successful, next step is shadi, ghar kharidna hai. Didn't they do all that? How could they just say, okay, quit your job and do a 2-year course?
No, they didn't say that. So I was smooth about it.
Oh, you were smooth about it. Tell us that story.
So first I asked my mom, and she knows about the course because when they were here in Mumbai, they would also attend classes as guest students. So I told her that, how there's a course, and she said, yes. I said, Guruji will be teaching the next course. And she said, really? I said, yes. And then she said, I want to join the course. I said, no, I'm not asking about you. I'm asking for myself.
Okay.
And she was very happy about that. And she immediately said yes. And she said that, yes, if that's what you want to do, be clear. And if that's what you want to do and you decide to do that, then that's fine with me.
So obviously your mother has been a very strong influence in your life and has helped you be on the path that you want to be on. But how did the other members of the family react?
So my dad was a little bit skeptical. And first when I told him over breakfast, he didn't react at all. He didn't say anything for 3 days.
Okay.
And then after that, he slowly, I think, came to terms with it. And I told him that it's only for 2 years and there is no commitment after that. In the sense, if I wanted to come back and continue working, then that's always an option. So I said, I'm going there because I have questions that I want answers to, and I want to study Vedanta systematically, properly. So that is why I'm going there. So I hadn't told him anything about what was ahead, and I wasn't even 100% clear about what I would do ahead. But my focus was to go there and study Vedanta. So I told him I'm going there to study, and then we'll see what happens after that.
At that time, did you even think that you might take the path of being a Brahmachari?
So it became more and more clear to me as the course
progressed.
progressed.
But not before you came in.
I mean, I had an idea, but I wasn't ready to announce it. I wasn't ready to tell everyone about it.
So, in a lot of Indian families, children feel a lot of pressure because they have to study well, they have to do engineering or medicine, or they have to get a good job, they have to, save money, marry a good girl, have children. How did you face these kind of pressures at all? Or was your family also different, that they didn't put these pressures on you?
So my family is spiritually inclined and has spent a lot of time with different swamis and great people. So they're obviously not unfamiliar with it, and this is not something new to them. But of course, it's a different story when it comes to their own child or their own, young one in the family. But luckily for me, before marriage and all these conversations started, I was already in the ashram.
Okay.
So I think it was too early for that to start, and I'd already left by then.
I'm trying to think that as a mother, what would I do if my son came and said that he was going to renounce life as I thought was life and choose a path like yours? And I'm actually quite in a quandary. I think while there might be a little amount of pride, I might also feel that he's going to lose out on so many of life's experiences that he will never get should he become a brahmachari. Did anybody in your family have those kind of emotions? That you're so young, you still have to experience life before you decide to give up life?
I haven't given up life.
Okay.
It's just that the vision of life and the experiences of life has expanded for me, in fact. Because the experiences that I have today are far more than I would have had doing a conventional job, coming back home, do a job from 9 to 5 and come back home. That's just a very limited experience of life.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So the exposure that I have today, the experiences I have today, the people that I meet is far greater actually. The family that I haven't left my family, I've just expanded my family.
Very interesting.
This is the vision that Vedanta gives us. It's about expanding.
It's going beyond you, yourself, and looking at a much larger universe.
Absolutely. And this is where we tend to get uncomfortable because it's giving up our own ego, or at least reducing our own ego and letting go I and mine
True.
to expand to a greater family, to expand to a greater life.
And it is uncomfortable because it's almost like diminishing yourself for others.
Yes.
So you did the Vedanta course. Okay. And then what happened?
Then what happened was during the course, then I was convinced on what I had to do next. However,
And what is it that you wanted to do next?
yes. So when we choose to pursue this path full time, then how it works is after the 2-year course, during the course we wear white robes
Okay.
as students. So
Okay.
all of us as students. And then if we want to continue, then we have Diksha, which is initiation.
Initiation. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So when we're initiated, then the white changes to yellow,
Okay.
which means that you're full-time committed to this. And you're on the path to sanyas, which is orange, becoming a Swami.
Okay. So when you wear yellow, then you're being initiated.
Yes.
And orange means you've actually tyagoed everything.
Yes, that is what
Okay.
we call sanyas or renunciation.
Okay.
So one in orange is called a renunciate.
Renunciate. Okay.
And in yellow is a brahmachari, meaning you're still pursuing the path and you're walking on that path, but you're still a student.
Can you do a rewind?
Yes.
For example, I've worn saffron, but can I go back and say I don't want to be a Swami anymore?
No, no,
No?
no. So it's progressive. So it works from white to yellow to orange.
But I can
Okay.
never come back in the sense, can I
Not-
stop being a Swami?
No, not after sannyas, no.
Okay, not after sannyas.
Which is why you do not decide when you become a renunciate. The Guru gives it to you when you're ready.
Okay. But as a brahmachari, can you say, okay, now I don't want to be a brahmachari anymore? Is that, suppose tomorrow you have a crisis of belief and you say, no, I don't want to be this anymore.
Well, because you've committed and because you've been initiated, that should not happen. But there are some
It could.
could potentially.
Okay.
But after sannyas, you definitely should not happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that you don't decide when you're going to be a sannyasi. Your guru decides for you. Interesting. Okay, so you decided that you were wearing white and you decided that you wanted to be a brahmachari. Did it come to you overnight or was it a slow path that you were on anyway?
Yeah, it was a slow path and it happened over time.
And did you talk to anybody about it within the mission to say, I'd like to take this path?
Yeah, so Guruji, who is our acharya, he always guided us. And if there was anything like that, I would speak to Swamiji about it, Guruji about it, and kind of share my thoughts with them.
And would they make decisions for you or?
No. They would tell me how to think about it.
Okay.
Yes. And then I had to make my own decisions.
From what I'm hearing, I'm sensing that this entire process is very empowering. You have the power at every stage to say what you want to do with your life. Is that also what the Vedanta says?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that Guruji repeatedly says when people come to him for advice is that your life is your life. I cannot live it for you. You have to live it. So you have to make the decisions that you have to live with.
So you decided to be a brahmachari.
Yes.
And how did your life change then from a student to a brahmachari?
Still a student, But
That's saying it so sweetly. Okay.
but the role changes. So when we're in the ashram, then we're only studying
Okay.
because there's nothing else.
Okay.
We're there to study. But of course, now that I'm serving the mission, I serve in different capacities wherever I can. Right now, I travel with Puja Swamiji and take care of things. I also teach wherever I can. So a lot of different roles that I play.
And you get paid for it?
It's
So,
seva.
okay, so I have a lot of
Yes.
questions to ask you about
Yes.
this. So, as a brahmachari in the mission, what does your day look like? Do you kind of pray all the time? What does it look like?
So because I'm with Swamiji, I could not, no day is the same and every day the schedule is different.
Okay.
So there's no such thing called a routine for me. It's
Okay.
whatever Swamiji's day looks like.
Okay.
Because I'm with him the entire day.
Okay.
However, I do my, there are certain things that as a brahmachari we must practice. One of them is Gayatri Mantra Japa.
Okay.
So all that I do in the morning. My
So
practice.
how many times do you chant the Gayatri
So
mantra?
108.
Okay.
So in the morning, that's a 20, what we call Sandhya Vandan.
Okay.
Before sunrise.
Okay.
So I do that in the morning and I
Okay.
finish all of that.
Okay.
And after that, my entire day is with Swamiji.
So you're almost like an executive assistant manager to him.
A lot of things, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And your duties would include what?
My duties would include that making sure Swamiji's schedule is done. He knows where to go next, what to do next, because he's got so many meetings. Then whatever I need to help with in terms of his classes, setting up. Every day is a talk. So making sure the stage is good, all of that. And also wherever we go, we have group discussions. So leading group discussions, spending time with people, talking to people. Also teaching, so youth sessions, children's sessions.
So there's a lot of reading and preparing and all that.
all of that. So there's no set job description, but it's a lot of things.
So you said you don't get paid to
Yeah.
do this. So do brahmacharis have any money, or you're not supposed to have money?
So we are given money for whenever we need money. For travel, etc.
Okay.
So that is not all our day-to-day needs are taken care of.
Okay.
The ashram provides food for whoever is there as well.
Okay.
So all that is taken care of.
So do you have a bank account?
I do have a bank account for transactional purposes in
Okay.
case something were to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
And money is not important to you?
Not that it's actually more important to me because the money that I receive is not mine. It's someone out of good faith giving it to the mission for the work that the mission is doing. So I have to be very careful and prudent on how
So
I
it's
use it.
basically the alms. So
Yes.
so let's say that somebody gives you something.
Yes.
It's not yours to keep.
No. It's for the mission's work. It's for the Lord's work.
So isn't that bhiksha?
Bhiksha.
Bhiksha.
Bhiksha, yes. So when someone gives money, then it's called dakshina. Dakshina is for
Dakshina.
something
That you
has
have
been-
imparted.
Yes. And bhiksha is more to do with food. But there's,
Okay.
in terms of clothes also, there is bhiksha. So our clothes are taken care of, all of that.
And this is what you always wear.
Yes.
What if it's very cold?
I could wear a shawl or a sweater on it, no problem. Wear socks, yeah.
Okay. And how many sets of clothes do you have?
Because I travel a lot with Swamiji, I keep 3 sets of clothes.
3 sets of clothes.
Yes. That's what he also keeps. He also
That is all you keep?
That is it. Yes.
And you do your own washing of clothes and all?
Yes.
What if you have to go and meet your mum and it's an emergency? The mission will take care of it?
Yes. Always. In fact, they encourage me to go home because they know I'm the only child. So whenever I have time, like recently, 2 weeks ago, I was home for a week.
And when you're at home, do your parents treat you differently? Do they, does your mother still say, Shaunak, clean the room? Does she do that?
Yeah, it's very difficult to get her to do otherwise. So she does.
Yeah, she does that even now?
I've given up on that.
Okay. Okay, so she's still mom to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But have you seen a change in the way that perhaps your classmates or your friends treat you?
Yes. initially when I joined the course and I spoke to them, they were like, "You've lost it. What is wrong with you?"
You've lost it, that's what they said.
That's what they said. They said, "You've lost it." And then over time, I think they came to terms with it, with what I'm doing, and also I explained to them my thinking, my thought process, and I think that's when it started making more sense to them.
Do you see them looking at you as somebody who is wiser than them? Do they reach out to you for some answers sometimes?
We do have chats and we do have conversations, but I don't think we're there yet where they don't reach
Sure.
out to me.
Sure. And I think you're also extremely humble. You don't go around trying to prove that, oh, I know more and I'm wiser and I'm more spiritual. Those are not badges you wear on yourself. So I guess I understand when you say that we're not there yet. So I do get that.
But they know that I'm always there for them, and
Sure.
I know that they're there for me. So we always talk time to time. And because we've been in a boarding school, our equations are very different, where they are family to me. So all my friends, I call them family. They're all family to me. But it also means that we might not meet all the time because it's not possible. But we still have each other. One of my friends was in Bombay, and I saw him after 15 years when I was studying in the ashram, and things haven't changed.
Yeah. They never do. I have friends from so many years ago, decades ago, and things don't change.
Yeah.
You meet and it's just like the way it was. And I think that's the beauty of childhood friends, especially if you've been in a hostel.
Yeah.
So, so it's a very simple life. It is focused on seva of others that you're going through. Have you ever had thoughts in your mind saying, what if I had continued in the US? What if I had gotten married? What if I had kids? Have these what ifs ever come into your life?
Sometimes, yes, but it's never swayed me away. And also, I'm grateful and I'm happy that I haven't gone that way. So I'm very happy with where I am.
Okay.
And a small decision made differently would have changed things for me completely. But I just look back and wonder how things have fallen in place and how at every step I've had the right guidance to get me to where I am.
Wow. For me, it's so different to the way I have led my life. And you know that I did do a course with the Chinmaya Mission at Vibhuti, your
Yes.
Pune
Yes.
campus.
Yes.
And it was called Make It Happen. That's where you and I first met.
Yes.
I think I was so privileged to be a part of the course without ever having stepped into any Chinmaya Mission ashram or having gone through no course. And I actually came to check you guys out, saying, who are these guys and what are you all about? And I came in completely a skeptic. And I think what I went through was so immensely life transformational that I don't think I could ever be you, but I'm so glad there are people like you so I can get to experience it even if it's a little secondhand. You know what I mean? I don't think I could ever say I will wear only 3 saris. I mean, it's inconceivable in my worldview. But as I'm getting older, I'm also realizing that you don't really need more than 3. But I've not yet reached a place where I can say, I want only 3 or I need only 3. The thing is that I still want a few more.
Yes.
So I understand that. You know, there's a lot of ancient wisdom that exists in the Vedanta and in the Gita and the Upanishads and the Vedas. How can we use this for today's challenges? Because a lot of young people may misunderstand what spirituality is. So what is it that young people view it as in your experience?
I think the root of the problem is we do not know ourselves.
Okay.
And because we don't know who we are as a person and what we want to do, we do not have the clarity of purpose. So when that is not there, you just kind of flow with what everyone else is doing.
Okay.
And that is where a lot of friction happens, because I might not be made for something. However, because everyone else is doing or society is telling me, I go ahead and do it. And because that clarity is not there, that's where the root of the problem is. I think what we misunderstand the most today is spirituality is something divorced from our day-to-day life and is something other than our day-to-day life.
Okay.
What we term as spirituality today is just maybe attending 1 hour of meditation or yoga, and we call ourselves spiritual. However, spiritual, that is also a practice in spirituality, but that in itself is not spirituality. It's more so the attitude with which we do whatever we do. So the underlying attitude, which actually transcends our actions, is what spirituality is. So what is the right attitude to do things? What is the appropriate outlook, perspective?
And the way you think.
The way you think, absolutely.
Now, I have not been exposed to the Vedanta at all, but you have felt the pull of the Vedanta. How would you explain that pull to somebody who doesn't know about it?
So let's say, for example, that you've gone abroad for
Okay.
a long tour, 2-3 months, and you're getting all kinds of different cuisines, but you're not getting ghar ka khana. So then what do you want at that point? As soon as you come back home, you just want home food. You
Dal
just
chawal.
want dal, chawal, khichdi, ghar ka khana. So Vedanta is ghar ka khana. You've been and done all these things in life, and you still haven't found what you're looking for. So then what do you come back to? You ultimately want dal chawal. So you come back to Vedanta.
I'm actually getting goosebumps as you tell me this. Wow. That's a very powerful statement. Very powerful image as well, and I completely relate with that. So, today's young people have a lot of stress in life. There's social media comparison, there is work, there are layoffs, there's breakups, there's heartache, there's so many distractions of partying and smoking and drinking and drugs and all that kind of stuff. What is it that they can find in this entire journey of Vedanta, of the spiritual path? How can it help them?
The basis of Vedanta is to know ourselves better, to where we ultimately realize what our ultimate and absolute nature is. But on the way, what we also realize is who we are, right? Who we are at many different levels. So the problem we face is because we don't know who we are, we start getting distracted and swayed away into all these different things, hoping to find happiness. However, when we study Vedanta and we start looking within, then we actually can understand who we are. And what that makes happen is that because I know myself better, I also pursue what my strengths are. I also make decisions that are in accordance with my temperament. And I relatively, even if I know myself, for example, even in college, what subjects do you choose? Even for that, there's a little bit of introspection required, right?
Yeah.
What do I want? What
Yeah.
interests me?
Yeah.
All these decisions in life. But if we don't have that clarity, then we don't have the clarity of purpose because we don't know ourselves. So I don't know what I want. When I don't know what I want, I just go ahead and do whatever everyone else is doing.
So perhaps knowing yourself better will lead to better decisions, will lead to better compromises, or what people term as compromises, because I know I want to compromise on this because it's important to me. And it'll lead to better ownership of the issue.
Yes, exactly. So the compromise would be for something higher. You would not be giving up something higher for the lower.
Okay.
So the compromise is because I want to grow from here, because I want to move ahead, I leave behind something that's petty, that's small.
Okay. Got it. So, you seem so relatable. You seem so easy to talk to. But the fact is that when you wear robes of a certain color, a certain distance gets created. So how do you build relationships with people who may view you as a little different and yet want to get to know you, and you feel you have to contribute to them. How do you make that happen?
So the first thing that I have to do is change my mindset. And what I mean by that is that I should have a sense of oneness towards everyone. And that apnapan, what you call in
You,
Hindi.
like-
I, in my
Like
mind.
Darshanji.
Yes, in my mind, towards everyone. So because everyone, like I said, expansion of vision, expansion of family.
Yes.
Because everyone is family to me, naturally that warmth comes out and reflects. And when that does, then over time people become relatable and come close to you.
So it's a world which is so full of distractions, right?
Yes.
There are constant distractions. There's television, there's music, there's this, there's that, there's phone, there's messaging. In this world, what is the power of reflection and what is the power of silence? How does that work?
So what we talked about earlier about knowing ourselves, that knowing ourselves will only happen when we spend time with ourselves.
But I do, even when I'm watching a movie, I'm spending time with myself. That's my me time.
No, that's your time with the television, where something else is involved. You are not with yourself in your own mind. Your mind is focused on the television and the movie that's going on. So your mind is occupied with something else. Your mind is not occupied with itself. When I say introspection, it's spending time with oneself, with our own mind, our own thoughts, sitting quietly without any other distraction, without any other object.
And how long do I need to do that?
Start with 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be that long. What this does is, first of all, makes us comfortable with spending time with ourselves. So even though a lot of times we want to spend time with ourselves, we just don't give ourselves that opportunity. And we run away from it. Because there's 100 other things I'd rather do than spend time with myself. I don't want to spend time with myself because I'll see things that I don't like.
I understand. You're right. It's uncomfortable to spend time with yourself. It's almost like looking into a mirror and not always seeing things that you like.
Yes.
Interesting. So, Darshanji, what would you say to someone who's feeling a little lost, but is also very skeptical of spirituality? What would you tell them?
Spirituality is talking to you, is talking to me, is talking to each one of us. So running away from spirituality is running away from ourselves. And like we said, the root cause of the problem is that we don't know ourselves. So just spend time with yourself. Start spending 5 minutes with yourself.
Okay, got it. Understood.
We don't take time to sit and think. We're just on the go all the time and just running. And we don't know where we're headed.
And you're so right, because even our me time that everybody talks about, self-love and me time, even that I don't think is time with us alone. Because me time is either scrolling or looking at something or being with people or watching a show. It's not just being with yourself.
Yes. And it's more like, okay, everyone else leave me alone and I'll do what I want. That's not introspection.
I'm going to ask you a question now which may be completely inappropriate and, irrelevant for a person like you. But I have to ask you, in 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
So the questions that I ask myself every day, have I served better? Because my purpose is to serve. Am I doing what I've set out to do? Am I closer to the goal I've set out to reach? So if I'm growing in that way, in that direction, then I'm comfortable with myself.
So it's not like you say, oh, I need to be at this level, or my robes need to change from yellow to orange. Those are not things that you aspire for?
No.
What if for the next 20 years of your life you're in yellow robes and you don't wear
That's
saffron?
okay. That's just the color of my clothes. Have I grown spiritually? Am I closer to myself? Do I know myself better? Have I realized what I've set out to realize? These are the questions that matter. Am I serving better? Am I serving in different ways, in every possible way I can?
When you say serve, you're talking about serving a larger community?
Yes, serving the mission, serving everyone around me,
Okay.
serving Guruji, Swamiji, whoever it might be,
Okay.
in whatever capacity it is. It could be in an administrative capacity, it could be teaching people, whatever it might be.
And my last question for today. There are a lot of conversations I want to continue having with you, but my last question for today. If there is one practice from the Vedanta that you would want to leave behind with our viewers, saying just do this one thing if you can't do anything else, what would that one thing be?
That would start with spending time with ourselves. Like we said, spend 5 minutes with ourselves and inquire. Inquire about what is my goal? What is my purpose? Am I working towards it? What is the end goal? Where do I want to go? What am I doing this for? What am I doing and for what am I doing it? The purpose. This will only come when we spend time with ourselves. So just sit 5 minutes quietly with ourselves, eyes closed, and start reflecting on the day. So just play out the events of the day. And if there's anything that bothers you, then spend a little bit time thinking about what it is and why that is.
Is there anything wrong with having a goal like I want to make more money or I want to buy a bigger car?
Absolutely not. And if that is the goal, then you must make sure that you're working towards it. But we must not forget that the ultimate goal for all of us is to be happy. So the fundamental question is, are you happy?
Wow.
And will that make you happy?
Wow. And I think that's what all of us are looking for, right? How do we get to be happy?
Yes.
And what I hear from you is that there is impermanence all around. So you need to focus on understanding and being aware of yourself before you go out. Have I understood that correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
Darshanji, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I know this is only the tip of the iceberg, but I really, really have enjoyed this conversation. It has been deep, it has been thought-provoking, and I realize that age really has got nothing to do with wisdom, because I might be double your age, but sitting on the other side, I'm also realizing there is so much of ancient wisdom in our country that we've not even scratched the surface of. So thank you so much for
Thank you
spending
so
this
much.
time.
Thank you for
Hari
having
Om.
me. Hari Om.
And I really, really am honored that you decided to be with us
Thank you
today.
so much for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Whether we follow Darshanji's path or not, his unique story compels us to ask ourselves questions like, what is my larger purpose? Who am I truly? And what am I doing to get towards my larger purpose? If this episode resonated with you in any way, sit with it for a while. Reflect on it. Because sometimes the best answers are found in the silence. To all of you who are watching or listening, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Instagram. We go by the name GenZen by Chrysalis. And if you know of anyone who should be on the show because of the inspiring life they've led, reach out to us and we'd be happy to host them. Till we meet again, stay sweet and stay Zen.